Should we know who this is?
Breakdown one. Trade that you met in Thailand. Nobody had the names breakdown. Divorced, they got rid of it, went back to Thailand and got a lady boy back. 5 years ago on the bottom. Gary.
One more? Yep. There you go. And is these two?
This way.
Nice to meet you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hello there, chaps.
Hi there. Who's that for then?
Streaming live to YouTube now.
Seriously?
What are you guys here for then?
We're marching against terrorism.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I saw you had a massive turnout up in Manchester about a month ago as well.
This is another one.
Yeah, nice.
Hopefully it'll make a difference.
Yeah, well, we've all got to stand together, haven't we, and kind of, bring this up,
We're here to help the law enforcement agencies if they need us, when they need us.
A home guard, so to speak.
Good idea.
Yeah.
That's the idea behind it, I think you'll find. But no Captain Mannerings.
I believe they're going to want to call it the Veterans Volunteer Force,
Oh yeah, definitely.
They just go out and try and train a few hour attacks.
The idea is to offer the option to them. They have the option because the security service ain't getting enough money to provide the cover. But the 3,000 jihadists that are already in the country, we need that covered.
They're crazy, isn't it? 3,000. I mean, I can't understand why they're even out in the open, Why are they in the country and why are they out in the open?
Because it's lions led by donkeys, my friends.
Been going on for
lions
a while.
led by donkeys.
Just now they've just caught up now. Now they're making a bit of a stink. They've got us to do something about it.
Yeah. Well, the more of us on the ground, the better.
So if they can't do it, I know a lot of people that can.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, one of the main reasons I'm here is because I can't see any BBC anywhere. Like, where's BBC? Where's
Oh no, they won't be here.
I wouldn't talk to the BBC. They're somewhat biased, aren't they?
Yeah.
They say they're not, but they are.
They didn't cover the
BBC News anymore. They really are biased.
They refuse to cover it. They won't. It's absolutely fine.
Yeah,
They won't.
you were saying about football lads and the fact that mainstream media is not covering it.
That's correct. Yeah. It's not. It's when you get up to 10,000 men walking peacefully down the street and to not have one single news service actually talk about it, no one to show it. The only way you find out about it is through other Facebook channels. That's it. That's not acceptable. There's a real swell of people who are proving and choosing to say we've had enough of this and we need to see something done. And unfortunately, media and government will ignore that at their peril.
Well, they're in a conspiracy together, I think.
Well, I think it's just whether you want to think of it as being a conspiracy or not. I think at this point they're just choosing not to show that there is support, and unfortunately that's going to turn around and bite them because there's several other marches planned, and the numbers will grow. And people are starting to just show, okay, we've let you handle it for a period of time. We'll still let you handle it, but you need to understand that our patience is running thin.
Well, I found out that I went to the football lads and I did a live stream, the same as this one, but the lads live, and I was probably one of 5 people covering it,
Yes.
and they were all independent.
Yes.
But there were 10,000 people that march.
Now, and why wouldn't something like that make news? 10,000 people. Because that same day there was a march with EDL that had a little bit of a kerfuffle with Antifa, so that makes news. And there was also a little bit of a march going on up in Manchester. That's the only things they talked about. 10,000 men? Now, I know that they saw it because I was on the streets and I saw a helicopter hovering. When they hover, you know something's going on. But the fact that they choose not to show it, there's a bit of complicit activity going on with nobody choosing to show. But also, I think the FLA potentially kept that relatively quiet to keep a lot of stirrers away from it. People who have got, the idea of let's come in and just turn this to something ugly. But
but the London newspapers were talking about it before it had happened.
Seriously, I didn't read that at all.
Oh no, I saw that.
Okay.
I was travelling down, and I was checking to see news and sure enough, it said EDL football lads. They knew all about it,
Right.
but there were no media from those organisations there. Maybe they were taking photos, looking for a yob or two.
Looking for a problem.
Yeah.
Looking for a problem. But just the fact that you've got 10,000 ordinary people who are prepared to stand up and say enough, that should make news.
So were you here with a hero today?
No, I'm here because my business is being profoundly affected by terrorism.
Wow.
Profoundly. And I run a tourism business. I've lost 70% of my income since March in Westminster. 70%, absolutely. So while you might see a lot of people, my demographic's choosing to not come into London because they have enough money to go elsewhere. And I've been very fortunate that the two attacks, one on London Bridge and one on Westminster Bridge, just managed to miss either myself or one of my staff. So we're talking about potential human impact within my life as well. And it's just horrific, and it's got to stop, and it's got to stop now.
Well, there's word that France's tourism industry is pretty much crumbled now.
It's 20% gone. 20%. Now you equate that out. That's 1 in 5 people who lost their jobs.
Wow.
All right. Now London's lost it as well. They're just not talking about it. They've only given numbers out recently. They've only given out numbers up until March this year before the attack, and the numbers were great. And you know what? But I can tell you that you went walking between Tower Bridge and London Bridge in the evening, there's hardly anybody. It's a ghost town, and it should be full. There's more numbers coming out now because over a period of time people forget, or they've got already bookings and they'll come along. And there will always be people who say, you know what, up yours, I'm coming. But numbers are greatly reduced, and there will be a lot of people lose their jobs as a result of this. It's short-sighted thinking to do nothing that's very obvious in the way of repercussions, because people don't have confidence and people will choose to take their money elsewhere. It's stupidity on government's behalf to not deal with it.
You see news on, say, Twitter.
In a way that we can see. Yeah.
Well, on Twitter you'll see someone posting up about a certain thing that's happened in London, and you will see Americans saying, "Oh, I'm not coming to London again."
Yeah.
I mean, that's worrying because Americans love Britain.
Well, and that's a real problem. I mean, Americans live with gun crime. It's a fact of life for them, and so that's something that most of us would actually struggle to live with. We find that quite horrific. So the chances of us wanting to go would be greatly reduced if we saw this gun massacres going off in the town that you're in. But Americans aren't used to terrorism. They didn't have to deal with the IRA, and they've had various incidents around the country, big country. But most people perceive London as being safe, and it is a relatively safe city. However, to know that you could be absolutely anywhere and some wanker next to you thinks it's perfectly reasonable to send you off to another, into pieces, because of his idiot beliefs, that's not acceptable. And people will then say, you know what, okay, I don't think I want to live with that risk. Or I can live with it, but I've got children, and so they will turn away.
And I think people are waking up. I mean, it's worrying because in effect there's going to be a point where enough people have not said it enough, quick enough.
Yeah.
And then it's going to reach boiling point, and then someone's going to come in and propose really drastic.
I honestly think that people have had enough a long time ago. It's just that politicians haven't got their head out of the rear end to actually listen to it. And people are too busy trying to look after themselves or their own reputation, and they're not prepared to actually withstand the onslaught that comes from the people who like to call people names. That 6 months ago, nobody had ever heard of the word xenophobe, right? Now it's the second favourite word of the year. It's just ridiculous. At some stage, those words will mean nothing. And the ordinary person will stand up and say, you know what, I'm standing up because I want my children to have a better future. I want this country to be as good as it's always been. I mean, look, every country has its problems, but at some stage you have to stop and think about what's the long-term future that you want for your children and your grandchildren. And if you want freedom, if you want your kids to have every opportunity, if you want your daughters to be equal, if you want to have your grandchildren in some to have the same opportunities that you did, you need to stand up now.
So what would you say to the people who are watching this live stream now?
There's several other marches coming up. You need to look them up. There's one called the Last Silent March. I think there's another one coming up in September and October. You need to get yourself down here. And it's a peaceful march. It's not out to go out and cause trouble. It's not going to be something that's a violent thing. That's not the aim. The aim is to show that, you know, people are speaking. We've had enough. You need to now start doing something. And make it so that you may be doing stuff under the surface. I have no doubt the police and the security forces are working very hard. I don't ever doubt that. But the public need to see very obvious repercussions for the rat bags. If you've got 23,000 people on a watch list, that's an awful lot of people that need to be taken off the street. If they get to the point they're on a watch list, I'm sorry, they've already got some pretty evil intent in mind. And you know, at some stage you have to turn around and say, okay, the repercussions are going to be seen by a percentage of society as being incredibly harsh. We have to do it. We have to do it because you need to protect your way of life. That's it. And you know, I don't care whether you're black, green, white, brindle, spots. I don't care. I don't care whether you're short, tall, fat. I don't care what country you're from. I don't care anything like that. All I care is that we have a quality of life, and we have to protect it. And anyone who comes here has to accept that this is what our life is. Fit in or fuck off. That's it.
Safety for the kids.
Safety for everybody. Everyone deserves to be safe, right? You know, you get some idiot like Sadiq Khan who says terrorism is part and parcel of big life, big city life. I don't think so. What a load of crap.
I wonder if Sadiq will show up to show his support.
I doubt it. Sadiq has given very little support to anything that doesn't fit with his beliefs. I doubt it. I doubt it. Yeah, if he does, you know, I'll go up and have a word to him. I would go up and have a word to him and tell him exactly where he needs to pull his finger out. Yeah. Anyway, that's enough for me. I'm getting sunburned.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just Google YouTube, search YouTube, and look at Veterans Against Terrorism, or
So you're currently live streaming?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and do you know how many people are watching at this point?
I don't, but the football lads one, I think, is about 80,000 views so far. There were 2,000 people watching it at that point. And, I mean, people have edited my original footage, and some of the edits have had 1 million views on YouTube, on Facebook. So, yeah, it's all...
This is the first march I've ever been on. But now, to me, I've had enough of it. I've absolutely had enough of it, and I all I see is a whole lot of pussyfooting around, you know, and pandering to a very vocal minority that is quite prepared to keep playing the victim game and keep choosing to not integrate to the way of life that is accepted here. You know, you can have your religious beliefs, but as soon as they start making people, or they start saying that, you know, you're worth less than me, you deserve to have this done to you. I'm sorry, that doesn't fit here. Everyone's equal. If you don't like it, there's an exit at every airport. Use it.
Lovely. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You just go to my dog.
There he is, Mr. Churchill himself. That's a beautiful statue. Hello there, chaps. Do you mind speaking to camera?
Not for me. I don't want to
No,
crime
fair enough. No. Oh yeah, fair enough. No, I appreciate it. So yeah, as before, it's walk around with a professional camera. It's hard to kind of get people to talk, you know.
That's what they did. They have really
me, sir.
Hey,
I'm streaming live to YouTube. Please, can I speak to you, chaps? Do you mind being on camera? No. So, I've just set this up. You're a bit taller than me. So what are you chaps doing here today? What are you kind of standing up against? Obviously it's a terrorism thing, but you know, what's the reasons behind this movement?
People are just sick and tired of being pushed around in their own country, and the terrorism just doesn't seem to be going away, and nothing seems to be getting done about it. We see the police backing away from various organisations and groups of people. It's just not right. Some people are going to make a stand at some stage.
Got all the terrorists on the watch list. Why are they watching them and not locking them up? And the ones that aren't British nationals should be deported straight away.
Why do you think they're not? Why aren't they deporting these people? Why aren't they locking these people up?
I have no idea.
Do you think it's political correctness, or do you think it's some type of conspiracy? Do they want this?
Political correctness has just gone. That's bringing this country down. It's like health and safety, common sense and everything. We've done it for years and years, and they're just bringing all these different things in that's screwing the system up. We seem to be going backwards instead of forwards, and that's one of the main reasons Brexit came about: immigration and the terrorism that's getting through the borders and everything. And you see them, the people's walking around threatening English people in their own country, and people's just had a belly for it.
When was your kind of turning point? You know, obviously we've had numerous attacks from obviously 7/7. You know, that was the first enormous one. With regards to kind of the current terrorists that we've got,
I think it's taken until organised. People's starting to get organised now, because we as ex-Scottish now, we've seen and dealt with terror many times on different fronts, but now it's on our front door, and it shouldn't be. We've fought to help other countries and what have you, and now it's at our front door, and soldiers have been, military's been taken away, they've been destroyed from within.
When they target kids, like in Manchester, it takes it to a whole new level. That's disgusting, and something that's got to be done.
Yeah, the police stand there and they're either powerless or they do nothing. If we fly our flags, we get told to take them down in case it insults various cultures. But various cultures walk around with
Hezbollah flags. Did you see that? About a month ago there was the Al-Quds March, and they're flying Hezbollah flags with AK-47s on.
Yeah, and nothing was done about it at all. There was an incident where I come from in Sunderland, where there was a shopkeeper, just a small shopkeeper, and he had a little Union Jack, and he also had underneath, don't add to terrorism, or words to that effect. The police visited him on 7 occasions, telling him to take it down. He refused. In the end, they threatened to revoke his alcohol licence, and that was his livelihood, and he had to take it down. And yet, Shire courts, for instance, meant to be illegal. They're advertising everywhere, they're active, and there's not a thing done about it. And they're actively gaining strength, and they're all about terrorism. And it's things like that that's bringing this country down.
So what are your histories?
I served in the RAF for 9 years and served out in the first Gulf War.
Well, no, I appreciate your service. I was too scared. You know, looking back, when I was younger, I wish I'd gone into the services. I'd have, looking back, then again, maybe I wouldn't have done, you know. I mean, you guys aren't treated very well. You're not treated well enough anyway, you know. But yeah, it's looking back, I kind of tootling around doing a silly arts degree and all this sort of stuff, and you think, you know, there's real people doing real jobs, and you know, it's, what's your history?
I was in the Guards, Coastline Guards, 1st and 2nd Battalion. Served a couple of tours in Northern Ireland. Nothing to write home about, but it's the guys who I serve with that the calibre just goes to show. Some of them's travelling. I mean, this lad's travelled from Spain. There's others from Cornwall, Birmingham, Liverpool, all over the country.
Sunderland's a bit of a trek, isn't it? What's that? 4 or 5 hours?
Yeah, but I live in London now. But even if I didn't, if I lived up there, I'd still be down. You know, just to support or help support these fellas, because the camaraderie and that,
as they say, we're all a band of brothers. We're all one.
I was talking to some of your colleagues, so to speak, up there, and they were talking about. I said it was like a home guard, you know. Yeah. What do you guys call it? What's your kind of proposal?
When you come out, you normally do whatever time you served colour service. You normally do the same in reservist.
Yeah.
Right.
I've done my we've done our reservist time a long time ago, but we're still, as you can see, we're still military through and through, probably till the day we die.
There's a reason you join, you know. Well, I was talking to a few people earlier about the fact that I think it would be the audacity of anyone coming and protesting against this march would be ridiculous, but nothing seems to. I'm seeing crazy things happening.
Yeah.
You know, the far left, the ultra far left, who seem to hate Britain. Yeah. You're just like, goodness me, you know.
I mean, the open border policy, it's ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous.
When you've got veterans that have served their country going on a march like this, it shows there's something wrong.
Yes.
When I left the military, I'd just done a tour in Ireland, and I'd been stationed in Germany for 3 years. And when I came back, I went to the council, applied for a council house, flat, whatever. And the guy the fellow behind the counter, he was asking us various questions, and he said I didn't have enough points. I said, well, what are they? And he told me, and I said, well, of course I won't have any points. I haven't lived in the country for 3 years, and I've just left the military after 8 years. And he said, well, come back in a fortnight's time, we might be able to get you into a bed and breakfast. They don't really care less. And you know, when you're out there, oh yeah, please, like when all the bombings was going on, the shootings, etc., you know, you're God's gift to everybody. But
we got veterans sleeping on these streets here in London, and immigrants are getting housed before these veterans.
Show up straight away, don't they? And
that is wrong.
People go on about President Trump and that, but you know, he's gathering support everywhere. He's looking after his people in his country first. Now, I'm not saying that should be the be-all and end-all, but look after your own first, and then whatever's left, prioritise where you can help.
Well, I watched the Donald Trump thing happening, and I was just like, wow, this guy is superb. You know?
Yeah.
Everything, and he's a leader.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you know, he kind of got a lot of grief for that missile strike after the chemical attack.
That's right, yeah.
I mean, I was looking at it thinking, was there really a chemical attack? You know, you don't know.
Yeah.
And you
can't believe anything these days.
But at least he's not sending lots and lots, well, as far as we know, lots and lots more troops. I mean, I think we'd be at war with Russia if Hillary Clinton genuinely.
Yes, I think so.
But yeah, so I mean, like, I've heard that there's going to be some type of march for Trump. to celebrate on his state visit.
He's got. When he first started, there was a lot of people saying, "Oh, he said derogatory things about women and that." But when I've looked on Facebook, I see women aged from 70 downwards, and they're flying a flag, and yeah.
Well, the real people, I think they do like him, you know, and I mean, he's, apparently he set up there's a direct line to the White House that dealt with by the Veterans Association. Is it Veterans Association? The VA in America.
Yeah.
They can ring up and get a code apparently, and then go to a private and get sorted out straight away. But the mainstream media aren't talking about it. This is the sort of thing that our government should be doing, you know.
Well, I mean, there's other things. There's different parts of the country where veterans they get free or discounted travel passes and things like that. Not so, especially in London and that.
Right.
You know, you get very little help from the government, to tell the truth. And people who stand up and speak for themselves, you know, the class as troublemakers and that.
Yeah.
And it's not all the time. They just get frustrated with being stepped on or just ignored, where other people who terrorise, threaten and everything else, and the police and the government back off, and there you go. They can't chuck enough money at them, or...
I'd like to see Theresa May come out of that door today and listen to what we've got to say.
Yeah. I had a joke around with some other guys saying it'd be good if Sadiq Khan showed up as well, wouldn't it, you know?
Oh yeah.
But he won't, and the BBC haven't showed up. One of the main reasons I'm filming this...
BBC don't cover nothing to do with us.
Well, this is why, I mean, like, the cost involved. This is being funded by myself half. I'm paying half to do the stream. It costs a fortune because this is HD going up to YouTube now. So there's people watching. I hope there's a lot of people because it's not worth it otherwise. People can watch after. But the reason I'm here is because I want to show people who are probably too afraid to come to these marches that there are people here and you should come to them, because you need lots and lots of people at these type of things. Even if they're not, I mean, like I say, I'm not a veteran, but I don't want our country changing so much that people don't have freedom.
Well, I mean, this is about terrorism mainly, where the other parts of politics is they're taken from pensioners, and a lot of them pensioners are ex-veterans and that. There's something like 600 cars, disability vehicles being taken off people who have been classed as disabled to get the vehicles in the first place. They're being taken off them, and as I said, the government can't seem to give enough of our taxpayers' money abroad or to whoever.
One thing that was quite nice, I saw that foreign aid's being cut drastically. Did you read about that? Did you don't believe that? Or?
No. Well,
was that just hearsay?
You know where it is these days, it's hard to believe anything, especially what you read or whatever. Sometimes you've got to actually see it for yourself to believe it. Because, again, why doesn't the government do something about that? Anybody doing anything that's not true should be prosecuted. These people throwing acid in the faces. That's the first possible step I've seen the government do about anything, and giving them life. Quite right. They need a deterrent. I guarantee you that will definitely deter people from doing that.
I'm wondering, because I don't really know the background of the whole single tower thing. Obviously, it's come from countries where Islamic extremism is coming from. But I'm wondering whether it's more of a gang-related thing. Then again, I suppose
when have we had this in the past?
No, this is it.
We haven't had any. And these people on the scooters going around robbing people now.
Yeah.
We've never seen that.
Completely new.
I'm all for bringing back national service.
Yeah.
Do you know, that would be really good, because it would teach a lot of the people who've never really worked. It would remind them how important their life is, you know.
Bring back national service, It would make our military the strongest it's been in a long time.
Yes.
It would give people a little bit of self-worth, pride, and even out of, say, 1 in every 10 decided to make the military their career, it would take that many people off benefits or whatever.
They'd be employed, wouldn't they? You know, it's like, and at least they wouldn't be going in debt. Like
That's it.
You know, I was talking to an 18-year-old kid who's just finished his A-levels, and he said that 90% of his class are going to uni, and he's not. So 1 in 10 aren't going to uni. And you're like, are they all going to be like, you know, doctors and engineers? I mean, like, you know, we need normal people as well. I mean, like,
Well, look at these people who do go to uni and college and places like that. Job, they end up in McDonald's because either overqualified or there's not enough jobs going around for that particular field, whatever they're in. And kids get frustrated, easily misled, onto drugs and so on and so forth.
well, I think some of this kind of extremism that we're getting at the moment is from young guys who aren't really part of any society. You know, they come here like, I mean, I remember when I was unemployed thinking, God, there's nothing to do.
I joined the military because I come from up north, and I was starting to get in trouble with the police. Nothing major, bit of let off the roof and things like that. But I could see where I was end up if I didn't do something. And I joined the military, and I've got to say, I had rough times in there. I dare say each and every one of them out. But probably the best move I ever made in my life.
I started in the Air Training Corps at 13 and a half and went into the Air Force at 17. So it's all I knew.
Yeah. But and you travel all over. You've been in all sorts of horrible places, and I suppose you've probably seen some amazing places as well, you know?
Yeah, but you know what? You stand as much chance these days of being killed on the streets of London or maimed as you do in, you know, in some
Afghanistan,
some theatres.
Yeah.
It's not right. What they need to do is hand out bigger punishments like life sentences for acid and terrorism, things like that. Maybe he's even contemplate bringing back capital punishment. I'd certainly be for that. Have the youngsters do a couple of years at least national service. There's lots of different ways they could go about it, but it just seems that they haven't got a clue what they're doing. They don't even know who they want in power. Brexit is merely due to the vast immigration, and they haven't even acknowledged that. They don't realise it.
It's funny because I voted for Brexit because of economic reasons, political reasons. I don't want someone from another country who doesn't speak my language dictating what laws we have. I don't want someone dictating what companies in the UK can do, you know, like, because what they're doing, they kind of tie your hand behind your back so you can't be, God, I'm so tired. You know, you can't compete against other countries' manufacturing, and then obviously you don't get the work.
But the government privatised everything, sold anything it was worthwhile having, they sold it off or privatised it. It's and I mean, people buying all the council houses up. They're buying them up, and there's not enough council houses to go around. So the landlords who bought the council houses at a knockdown price put a new sink in that in, and then people who's on the council go to the landlord. He charges £1,000 a month, £2,000 a month, and then the people on the benefits have got to claim that. It's ridiculous.
And whoever's allowing this to happen is getting a backhander.
Oh yeah.
And what gets me on that Brexit is Europe want us to pay millions. Surely we paid our debt saving Europe in the First and Second World War. I think that's debt paid.
You can't. What's he on about? I mean, a few years back we were told by the government to buy diesel cars. A lot of us did. And now what happened? 4 or 5 years down the line, now they're saying Khan wants to charge God knows what to come in and out of London. The congestion charge is just a joke. I mean, look around central London now, it's as congested as it's ever been. The difference is you've got to pay that much extra to get in and out of it. And now the diesel thing, he wants to do away with that. Is there any compensation coming from the government? I mean, at one time they had a scrappage scheme, but they've even done away with that.
Well, that was a ridiculous scheme as well, because so many decent cars got rid of, and you know.
I mean, you had to pay extra for the car to have a catalytic converter and stuff like that. It's all about money. They don't give a shit about the people.
Well, I appreciate it, gents. Very nice of you to talk. Sorry, left-handed handshake.
No problem.
Cub Scouts.
Alright, cheers.
No, I appreciate it. Anyway, I don't edit any of this. It goes straight to you. There's about 40 seconds.
It's good getting it off your chest, whether it's on there or not.
Well, people want to hear it. People want to hear normal people talking, and a lot of people are too afraid to talk. And I appreciate you guys talking. Obviously, me walking around with a relatively professional camera, a lot of people naturally assume I'm going to spin it, and which is rightly so, because the media do that. And,
I hope she sees it down there.
Sorry?
I hope she sees it down there.
She'll never come out.
Ms. May?
That might be the one.
May or Ms. May?
We've been here for the Justice for the Northern Ireland veterans as well, and we've had very, very little poor response from the government. Lots of response from the public and the veterans alike. But they're hounding us. They've got IRA members running government in Northern Ireland who haven't even had the decency to tell us where some of the victims are who they've killed and they've left in some bog somewhere in Ireland. And you know, you've got Jerry Adams and people like that running Northern Ireland now. So it seems the worse you are, the bigger criminal you are, the bigger terrorist you are, the better you're thought of, the better you're tricked.
I think this is why Donald Trump's so unpopular with all the criminals.
Quite possibly.
You know, you think, God, he must be in it for something, and then you think, hang on, wait a minute, he was earning a fortune from his business, he's giving away his money, and like the first chunk went to the veterans, the second chunk went to school, like one school.
The thing is,
£300,000
because he hasn't got any, he doesn't need to make money, he hasn't got an axe to grind, like, you know, he's trying to do something for the American people, and the sooner they seem to realise that, the better.
What do you reckon genuinely is the percentage of people who, you know, because I think a lot more people voted for Trump than letting on.
Oh yeah.
You know, like, and I think a lot of the votes, you look like, why aren't certain states in America releasing the voter number, you know, all the voter registrations? I genuinely think he probably got more, because I've worked with colleagues in America who are in California, and they say they lie to the people they know. They say they didn't vote for Trump when really they did, and they love him.
Well, as you're probably well aware, doing your job, they edit what they want, and they put it, depending on what political views they've got, they'll put in what they want and take, like the BBC.
I'd like to know how the last election would have gone if Nigel Farage was still standing.
It would have been a landslide.
I tell you what, that man, he gathered so much support, and people
Got my vote.
Oh yeah.
What about Jacob Rees-Mogg? Do you like the sound of him?
Yeah, but I tell the truth, I haven't heard enough about him.
Right.
Whereas the others have been in the eye of the public for a long time. But from what I've seen, he's pushing all the right buttons.
Well, I'm all for. Do you know what I want for our next Prime Minister?
He's dead.
A straight, normal bloke with a family to run it. Because then, if he's got a family, you say, right, so he's invested now, he's got to make it work. Because he doesn't want his, you know, but then again, I suppose...
You know, what does the average person think when they hear about the House of Lords and that, or they see them asleep, slumped in chairs, or they give themselves these massive pay rises, and they've got calves and bars and that's all subsidised. Second homes, what the hell for?
So Cash cow.
It's all a rip-off. There's a programme that's got a good title called Rip Off Britain. The only thing that works in that building there is Big Ben.
And that only just works.
Well, I appreciate it, James. Thank you. And
No worries, thanks.
If you want to find this, just go on YouTube and search for Veterans Against Terrorism or hashtag Stand Up to Terror.
Yeah.
And this will probably come up quite high because it's like there'll be the long one, probably 4 hours long. Anyway, thank you.
Nice one. Thanks, mate. Cheers now.
Right, now I've got to double check that that's actually streamed, because if that hasn't streamed, I'm going to be crying. Nice, it is streaming. Brilliant. Try and find, see if Phil Campion's here.
But I know all the things we saw.
See ya. It's all getting money here, isn't it? Oh yeah.
Off the record.
We're alive, mate.
And we left them all, they had all moved and they were all living well, you know, they weren't any problems.
Would you like to talk on camera?
Regarding
Regarding the current state of affairs that we're in the UK?
yes, you can.
So this is live at the moment. This is going to YouTube.
Right.
So yeah, if you want to kind of give me a rundown as to why you're here and you know what you're protesting against, what you're kind of showing.
Well, what it mainly boils down to is that this government is being a bit lax in guarding the British public against terrorism, and we're here to prove the point that there are the people out there who care and are trying to get this through to the people in Westminster, and that they should be giving us a lot more support than they are. Basically, we hope to prove our point. But whether they'll listen is a different matter. But we'll see. Apparently we've got a load of other people joining us, not just ex-forces, but a lot of civilians coming along. And let's just hope we listen this time.
Were you up in Manchester for the previous march?
No, I'm afraid I'm based down here at the moment. I do come from up north, but family problems have brought me down here, so I have to be here for them. And I attend as much as I can.
Indeed, yes, indeed. It's a nice turnout, lots of gents around. I've spoken to a few people. But yeah, it's definitely a governmental problem, isn't it? They're not...
Well, it certainly is. And when you've got people in a shadow cabinet or tending to ignore the problem altogether, it doesn't help. You know, I mean, we've got a shadow Home Secretary who wants to provide 10,000 more police, but doesn't know how she's going to do it, and then makes silly statements regarding rioting in the country, that a Home Secretary should be defending the police, not attacking them. It just, you know, it's beyond belief.
I suppose the police have got their hands tied behind their back. And the worst thing is the police seem to get quite a raw deal. The ones on the street get a raw deal because they get the blame. But it's obviously people are making decisions up top, you know.
Exactly.
Not enough funding for the police. There's not enough police on the street. There's no infrastructure for it.
Yeah, we've got to come to a point where...
Mind if I...
Instead of knocking them for every little thing they do wrong,
Yes.
give them the grace to say that was good what you just did. You know, go up and say hello to a policeman. Don't just look at him as though he's some stranger that's going to do you harm. He's not. He's there to make sure that the law is abided by. And this is the thing about carrying ID cards. Why shouldn't you carry an ID card? If you've done something wrong, then you're not going to want to carry one. But, so, yeah.
And I suppose if you're doing something wrong and you don't give your information and you get arrested, you can't really blame them for arresting you.
Not at all. Not at all. And no, I would like to see more police on the streets, or indeed more veterans being allowed to volunteer to go on the streets. Not as vigilantes, but just to keep their neighbourhood safe. You know.
I'm going to change your battery a minute. Sorry about that, sir.
That's all right.
Battery just ran out.
Yeah. No, they always do.
Oh no, I've been running around. I haven't even been thinking about batteries.
Oh, well, modern technology for you, but there you go. Yeah, I mean, what we really need is from the whole community to be aware of what is happening on their street. Not just the few that can be bothered to care, but everyone should care. You see something out of the ordinary, tell the police, tell somebody in authority. If you're in a shopping mall, there's bags unattended, get a security guard. You know, and make sure people move away from it. It's simple, and these are lessons that have got to be learned.
Do you think there's? Do you think people are afraid to kind of call out people that might be up to no good?
I think they might be afraid of repercussions in case they get named. But that's one thing the veterans aren't. They're not afraid of just speaking out and saying what they think. Sometimes they might say something without thinking because they get so angry about it. But on the whole, if you want to rely on somebody, we can rely on a veteran. I mean, it's like everyone's a brother, no matter what cap they wear, no matter what badge they wear. They're all in a certain brotherhood and will defend anyone. It's not just Millwall supporters who'll jump in, you know.
I love that story, you know. And then they give him they come up with a bad story. It's like he can do what he wants, you know. If that guy set fire to London, I'd forgive him, you know.
Yeah, but that's not how it works, is it? You know, you do something good and then somebody's looking for something that a bad you've done. I mean, a lot of the veterans here are more experienced than I am, and they've been into more war zones than me. And they've had to do some terrible things. But they've done it for Queen and country, they haven't done it for themselves.
It's like the Marine aid situation.
Exactly, disgusting.
Thank God he's been, you know, got off now. Like, do you know, like, and the funny thing is, I didn't hear very much about it on the media.
No,
no. I can't believe how quiet it was about that.
I think we've got a problem with the BBC and biased reporting. You know, they don't seem to want to hear the people, they want to hear what they are going to tell you. And it's reporting like that that gives everyone a bad press.
You realise I'm going to take this home and I'm going to dub it over and I'll say you'll be saying that everything's great. No, I won't. It's all going live and I don't edit. But
I mean, even if you did that, it wouldn't matter. I mean,
it would though, because that's what they do.
I know. I've seen the edited versions of when they've asked somebody something, and I've been there when they've asked them the question and seen the answer, and then on TV, it was a completely different.
How do they change it? And there's people who are experts at this. I mean, I can't even comprehend how they do it. But
they just jump in, edit the bit they want, same question, but an answer to a different question comes in and an answer to that. But no.
So what's your history then, military history?
I was in the RAF from 1968 to 1976. Did my 3 years plus in Northern Ireland. And then I got to the age where I thought, right, I've had enough, I want to go out. I wish I hadn't, but then I went and did something equally as silly and joined the Fire Brigade in Belfast. So I spent a total of 8 years in Northern Ireland altogether and saw it from both sides of the fence, and I haven't got any good thing to say about any terrorist. I don't care where they're from. And same could be said for a lot of the far right militia of the EDL and the BNP, for instance. I'm not saying what they're saying is wrong, but you don't need the militant tendency there.
There's a way to go about things.
Yeah. If you do protest peacefully, then people appreciate it. And today, it will be a peaceful protest. And just hopefully nobody will try and mess it up.
So what happens when the peaceful protests, let's assume 3 years' time, nothing's changed, in fact it gets worse, and the peaceful protest is still not listening? What do you think the public are going to do?
Well, the veterans aren't going to go away. That is one thing. And if you, I don't know whether you're old enough to remember the poll tax.
Sorry?
The poll tax.
No, fill me in.
Well, the poll tax was a thing introduced, a community charge by the Tory government under Margaret Thatcher. And instead of charging you your council tax, as they do now, per house, it was per person.
Right.
So if you lived in a mansion and there was only one of you, you paid one person's tax.
Yeah.
If you lived in a house and there were 6 adults in that house, you paid 6 people's tax. And I think it was the biggest solo protest to London. I think there were over 250,000 people marched on London against the poll tax.
Yes.
And I can see that happening in 3 years' time if you say some things don't change.
Well, I was in London about a month ago filming. There's a movement called the Football Lads Alliance. Have you heard of them?
Yes.
There are 10,000 men marched peacefully, and apparently there's going to be 50,000 at the next one.
Well, there might be. It is rumoured that they might be here today, but we'll have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah. Well, I was amazed. I mean, I showed up. I knew the media wouldn't cover it. I thought I'll go and see what's going on. I thought there might be 1,000 people, but that road, them walking up that road, I was just like, wow. This
Well,
is
that's it.
big, you know.
Yeah. But even if it's 20 people, it's a stance, and you know, and if the media pick it up, they pick it up. If they don't, what can you do? You can't drag them onto the street and say, right, this is what's going on.
Well, it gets to the point where protests, if they're large enough, they cost a fortune to police. And I mean, if it was up to me, if I was in charge of these things, I'd be making sure they're happening every week without fail. And you say, we're going to close this city down until you sort it out, you know?
Well, this is the protest against terrorism. There is a protest against the injustice in what's happening with the Northern Ireland troops.
Right.
That is coming up in September.
Fill me in on that, the Northern Ireland situation.
The terrorists in Northern Ireland were released from prison and given letters of comfort, shall we call them, saying they would not be rearrested for any terrorist acts they committed. One of the people, or several people from the forces who were in Northern Ireland at the time, have since been picked up by the police, questioned and taken to court regarding acts they committed as a serving member of the armed forces. And it is disgusting that people who are now in their late 60s, 70s, if they were in Northern Ireland or served in Northern Ireland, are sitting there thinking, did I do anything wrong? And worried that they might be the next one. Dennis, who, it's unbelievable that he's been to court on several occasions, on the occasion where a court judge said there were no charges to answer, and everybody thought that was it. No. The public prosecutor for Northern Ireland decided no, he hasn't satisfied me, and they took him to court, charged him with attempted murder.
And this is an elderly gentleman now.
He's 75 years of age. And Dennis Hutchings is his name. It is ridiculous that people of my age and of his age should be sitting here worrying that we might be the next ones on the list. We shouldn't have to do that. We served our country as best as we can. We took the orders we were given and we carried out those orders to the best of our ability. And it's one of those things that it can't be forgiven. Why should a terrorist get away with murder of innocent people, and the soldiers who were there to protect the innocent people are being taken to court for killing or capturing terrorists? Completely out of order. And it makes every veteran here is really angry about that. And I think in September you will see more than we had on the last protest against it. It is totally unjust. And then the Hyde Park bombings. Innocent men going about their daily duties, unarmed, unprotected, horses slaughtered, civilians injured, and yet the people who did it have been given legal aid to defend themselves, and yet the families of those people that were massacred haven't been given a penny. And currently they're about £10,000 short of reaching their target so they can take these people to court. I, for one, contribute to it. I urge every member of the veterans to contribute to this cause as well, and civilians if they're interested. you know, and let's get it to court. Let's see who the guilty ones are. And no letters of comfort for them. They don't deserve it. It's disgusting. And I finished now.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. If you want to watch it back, it will be on YouTube. If you search for the event, Stand Up Counter Terror or Veterans Against Terrorism, it'll be on YouTube. And I don't do editing. This is just going straight from this wire up into the sky.
Right.
So I think it's a 40-second delay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for that, sir.
No problem.
If you know anybody who needs any help. Hello, mate.
These bastards keep taking piss out of me, so mine starts with first floor's there. I've spent years trying to get a reaction.
No, because when they charge, guess what?
I've got a 6 man, haven't I? You can tell because your Benji wanted a bloody big. I've got one like exactly like one. It's got that blue
It's getting quite busy now.
I have got that's what you've asked to do. Preach on the streets. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, nice to meet you, sir. Yeah, nice to see you. You just go and say hello to someone.
Yeah, no problem.
Hello, mate. How are you? All right?
Yeah, I'm very good. Please, can I speak to you?
In a minute, I'm looking for somebody, and then I'll win them.
Yeah, I'll find you. Excuse me, sir. Are you part of the organisation?
No, press.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
What press
Who are you
with?
shooting for?
Just independent. It's just going
Freelance.
straight to YouTube. What? Who are you working for then?
Don't even worry. Don't keep me off it. No, because usually undercover press work as well. So
Right. Okay.
I steer the sensible end of the camera, not the stupid end.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Yeah. So what's the score then? Obviously, you don't want to talk.
No. Well, what you say, Veterans Against Terrorism, you know, there's a lot of ex-service people, family members, and they're all marching against the threat of terrorism.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
So you get many people to talk to you, yeah. It's a nice wee rig you have, isn't it?
Oh yes, it kind of does the job. Yeah, like, people don't really trust because they don't know who I am.
Yeah.
It's like all I know is that get yourself a press card. It's better off not,
Sometimes.
People don't
Nobody trusts the press.
I don't earn any money from doing this, so I'm kind of like I'm not at the mercy of editors or anything like that.
Neither am I, but if I sell the editors, then you sell the
So where's this going? Is it just for yourself and you're just going to provide it?
No, I'm coming in and providing it, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Just go straight to YouTube. It's all self-funded, or like a movement called I Am British have kind of chipped in just to pay for the streaming and stuff like that. It costs a fair old bit, but yeah, it's all good. Cool. Cheers, mate. Thanks.
Another world.
Yeah, there's always something.
He wrote a letter, did he? I've been trying to ring the bell. Don't worry about it, don't worry about it. About 100 and odd over there. Yeah, the police said, oh, it's cancelled. Rich, 18 years studying out in over the road having a pint. And a coke, honest. Yeah. I've been bed, mate.
Excuse me, sir. What's happening? I'm live streaming at the moment. You're the organiser, aren't you?
Yes,
I'd love to talk to you shortly.
Where are you from?
You're not independent. I'm just live streaming straight to YouTube at the moment. It'd be really nice to kind of...
You'll have to give me about 10-15 minutes.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Sorry about that. Like,
you can speak to one. Have you spoken to Richard?
That guy there? I'll go and... yeah. Okay.
Sean.
Union Jack. What's going on? Sorry, mate. this is live streaming at the moment. It's actually on YouTube at the moment. I just spoke to your colleague. I don't know his name, but I saw him on the video promoting this thing.
Yes.
I just wanted to kind of chat to him about the event, and but he said you might be the man to speak to.
Well, I am, but I'd like to keep this out.
Oh, right.
It's just on the personal side. I'm getting threats left.
Oh, mate.
We have a spot.
Oh, fair enough.
No, I'm literally getting bombarded.
Wow, threats from standing up against terrorism.
Yeah. I'm
by the terrorists.
And our kids are still down here.
Oh, mate.
We'll have a chat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hello there, sir.
Hi, mate.
This is live streaming at the moment. It's going straight up to YouTube.
Okay, good stuff. Who are you from?
Just independent.
Okay, right.
But some of the funding's been paid for by a movement called I Am British.
Okay.
It's kind of propagating British values.
Okay.
It's not far right or anything like that. But it's kind of standing for things like veterans issues.
Sure, yeah.
British values. It's not about kind of British people. It's about British values.
Okay, yeah.
So in effect they've kind of chipped in. But so I've just come here live streaming. I've come from Devon, and I did the Football Lads Alliance about a month and a half ago. I showed up and did a live stream of that. So I like to kind of cover the type of things that the mainstream don't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sure.
So what I'll do, I'll just get you framed.
Okay.
Yeah. So
do you want to video this? Do you want to video this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have.
Because I don't do any editing.
Yeah, so it just goes straight like, okay. Well, if it's going straight on, we should be okay. All right, mate.
It's going live.
Sean's got the shirts. He's one of your lads anyway. You know Sean, so he's got the shirts anyway.
Independent, yeah. Pardon? YouTube. So, well, all that happens, this wire goes to a box that sends it up into the sky. So, yeah, it's obviously we haven't got any BBC here. They failed to show for some reason.
Well, that's a surprise, isn't it? You know, we're not surprised
on the
that.
ball with these types of things, aren't they?
We probably don't know how many people are here, but yeah, okay.
So what's this is stand up to terror or veterans against terrorism?
Well, it's both. It's a joint march. I mean, it's basically Phil Campion's involved, a couple of other guys, a couple of other veterans, and obviously we've got a few hundred people here. Probably going to have about 1,000 people by the time the march starts. We're not involved in politics. We're not politicians. But we're just sick of terrorist attacks in our major cities. I mean, it's got to stop, and we're handing a letter into the Prime Minister with a few suggestions from veterans on maybe what might be a good idea and how to go with it. We're not getting involved in religion, we're not getting involved in any of that, but we just want the jihad attacks on the UK to stop. I mean, there's a problem there and it needs to be sorted out. So we can certainly get you a copy of the letter, which will go into a lot of detail about exactly what we're asking for and what we're calling for. Basically, we're calling for the 3,000 jihadists that are causing the problem. We'd like to see them basically lifted so that they can't cause a problem and arrested and detained. And also we want to see the jihadists who are returning from Syria and Iraq, who've been fighting with ISIS, who've been doing terrible things, beheading people, murdering innocent people. We want to see them arrested and tried for high treason. That's what we're about. And also there needs to be something done about radicalisation as well. Radicalisation is a huge problem and it needs to be sorted out. And I think the main thing is, because we're veterans and we know the cost of terrorism, most of us have been to Northern Ireland and served in Northern Ireland, we want to do something to avoid this country descending into a civil war situation. We want to keep this peaceful, we want to keep it lawful, we want to keep it legitimate. We don't want to do anything that's going to cause anybody any problems. We don't want to be involved in anything that's going to cause any disturbances. It's got to be totally peaceful. That's our ethos. And that's really what we're about.
Yeah, I was speaking to over there.
Yeah.
And I proposed a question. I said that obviously this was peaceful marching. The Football Lads Alliance were peaceful. You know, at the moment we've got peaceful marching, but they're still not doing anything.
Yeah.
If 3 years continue and the attacks get more and more repetitive, which they will if it's not stopped, what's going to happen if these marches, if they don't listen to the pragmatic stuff that you guys are saying?
Well, they have to listen. I mean, it's as simple as that. I mean, you know, we are totally committed to peace because we've all served in the military. We know what it's like to have terrorists try and murder us. We personally know that. You know, it's not a game to us. We know what it's all about, right? So if they won't listen to the veterans and they won't listen to working class lads who are coming together totally peacefully, totally non-sectarian, totally non-religious or political, who are they going to listen to? They've got to start listening. The media have to start listening. You can't just keep sweeping people under the carpet and throwing the tag of racism or Islamophobia or whatever it is they want to throw. Because that's not what it's about. We want our lovely country, we love our country, it's a beautiful country. We want our beautiful country to be preserved in the form that it's been in for many, many years. We want to keep people safe, we want to preserve democracy, and that's really where we're coming from. We're not interested in anyone that's stirring up violence or trouble. This is not a militia, this is not anything like that. This is basically for peace and basically for the safety of our country, and that's what we're here. That's what we're here for, and that's what we're about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like deeply concerned. I've been watching it I've been watching it closely for 2 years. Social media now.
Yeah.
Oh, there's some scary talk going on from people who 2 years ago were just talking normally.
Yeah.
And now, if someone proposed crazy solutions, I genuinely think there's a lot of people now who would say, right.
I don't agree.
Okay.
I don't think so. I'll tell you why. I mean, it's very, very difficult for, there's a lot of people, sitting behind keyboards can say all sorts of things, but it's meaningless. I mean, I don't think there's a real worry there or a real danger there. Certainly not from our group. In our group, law-abiding veterans who want something done, and we're relying on the government to do something. So people can rabble-rouse, people can say what they want from behind keyboards.
Yes, that's a very good point.
If they want to do something, come and stand with us. If there's thousands of people saying they want to do something about it, come and stand peacefully within the law, without getting into bigotry and hatred. Come and stand with us and petition the Prime Minister. And we live in a democracy at the moment. If people start taking the law into their own hands, it does one thing: it restricts our freedom. As soon as people start doing illegal acts, the government clamp down, and there's people who want there to be illegal acts because that serves their purpose. We don't want that. We want absolutely the opposite.
I've got some theories in my mind about why they're allowing this. Do you think they're allowing it so that they can bring in more authoritarian policing techniques?
I hope not. I hope that's not the case. I mean, I'm a great believer in the democratic process. I don't think we're there yet. I think there's some sinister things going on. I think there's some people who are lobbying, particularly in the area of things like Islamic blasphemy law, which is really what a lot of the accusations about Islamophobia are actually levelled at. It's really to clamp down on freedom of speech. But you see, the issue is as soon as people do violent acts, it feeds that narrative. This is where this goes to. We've got to clamp down on it. So that's why it's so important to be peaceful, to be articulate, to explain exactly what it is that you're against. We're not against any group of people. We're against an ideology that thinks it's okay to go to a concert in Manchester and blow up 8-year-old girls. That's what we're against, right? We're against an ideology that thinks it's okay to dive out of a van in central London, run into a crowd and stab women in the head. That's what we're against, okay? That's what we're standing against. Now we've got to show that we're better than that, and we've got to do it in a non-violent way. And it's very, very important we get that message across. It's never right to attack Muslims. It's totally wrong. Totally wrong. I can't say that strongly enough. And I would say every man here would agree with that 100%. That must not happen because it totally discredits the cause, and it's not fair. It's not fair on the Muslim community because the Muslim community are just as much victims of this ideology as the rest of us.
I suppose a lot aren't able to speak out.
Of course not. Of course they're not. I mean, basically, if it's the same as we had in Northern Ireland, when you've got terrorists who are intimidating a community, it's very difficult to fight against that, especially if there's a religious ideology behind that, because they also have a religious authority with them as well. And these are the thorny issues that the government needs to really grapple with and grasp. They really need to, because we don't want this country descending into chaos. That is our absolute ethos. We don't want that happening.
But what are you missing out on today? Being here, what would you be doing if you weren't here?
I'd have been with my grandchildren.
And that's the sad thing, isn't it?
I've flown into this country to do this. I don't even live in England. I've flown into this country to do this. So I've come from outside the country.
I appreciate it. I'm sure the people watching. I looked. I think we got about 50 watching live.
Yeah.
But like I say, the football lads live. So we're about 60 or 70,000 views within the first 24 hours.
Fantastic. Yeah.
And someone edited that footage together and uploaded it to Facebook.
Yeah.
It's had 1 million views.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it hasn't quite got the broad appeal of the football community.
Yeah.
It's just, if anything, a lot more important because you've got real world experience.
Yeah, I think what needs to happen. I mean, the football lads, from what I can gather, they seem to have a very similar ethos. They seem to be peaceful. They seem to be very respectful. They seem to be avoiding any conflict. And I think there could be there could be a coming together there. Because we know those lads support us, and we've got some of them linked on our Facebook page, so we know we've got the support of the football lads. So I mean, if they share the same ethos as we do, which is peaceful, lawful, legitimate protest, well, why not get together and have a mega protest where we get 100,000 or 1 million on the street? then they have to listen, you know, because there's only so many veterans, and we're all getting older. That's why we're called veterans, because we're not young lads anymore. So, but yeah, I mean, let's bring the whole country together against this. I mean, I know there's other groups like the Sikh Awareness Society and all those sort of people, you know. So we want everyone to get involved that is against terrorism, and let's get some moderate Muslims that are against terrorism to come and stand with us, and that some of those guys, we know they're a voice crying in the wilderness to a great extent, but get some of those guys like Majid Nawaz and people like that down, and let them have a go at this as well, because it's got to be stopped. You know, this. Yeah, I mean, this is the question. This is the thing. I mean, if we go 10 years down the road, how, you know, what's going to happen? So now is the time. This is the season to do it. You know, this is our time that we've got to do something about this.
What will you say to the people who may be watching this now, maybe watching it at a later date? Obviously, they're watching because they believe in what you're saying. Yeah. What do you say to them for not being at these things?
Well, look, I mean, I would say come. One of the organisers of the Manchester March put a challenge out on YouTube or Facebook and said, "Where are you? You know, why aren't you with us?" And that's why I'm here. I'm here because one of my brothers that served in the military put an appeal out and said, "Come on, let's get out from behind the keyboards and let's take a peaceful stand and do something about it." Because we've got to do something about it now. It is a serious situation. It is very, very dangerous, and I know there's a lot of fear out there as well. Well, I want to tell you something. They can't behead 1 million people, right? They might behead you, they might behead me. They can't behead 1 million people, or it would take them a very long time. Okay, so don't be afraid. You know, all this run, hide and tell nonsense. No, we don't run, hide and tell. Stand, fight and protect, right? Don't run, hide and tell. Stand. If you're in a terrorist attack, if somebody runs at you with a knife, stand, fight and protect. And that's what these veterans are doing. I hope.
And the Millwall, the Lion of...
The Lion of Millwall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's we were at that march.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, come on in. Get this lady in.
We've got to get him off the street. He's not doing
I don't know.
I didn't find out until about 3.
I'm going to have to live on the moon.
But
Listen, once we're done,
no, not my face. Camera will break. But something's got to be done.
Well, it's funny, the football match.
Yeah, of course, yeah, totally, yeah.
It's like a community of people. It's a very big community.
But you've got to realise the two main club supporters that were there hated each other. And I mean, they would kill each other. There's no buts or anything, they would kill each other. But that day, they stood together, which I was quite shocked but proud. Because apparently there's another march on the 23rd of September.
Yeah.
But not by the football lot. By another group.
Let's see how it goes.
And it's called the Silent March.
I just want to say goodbye to him just because it's live.
I'm sitting on the wall over there.
Basically, we're here today. We're taking a stand against the jihadist terrorist onslaught that's taking place against our country. Serious problem in the country.
Sorry, I dropped the ball there, but I'm going to touch bases with the organiser again quickly and just kind of get a final thing. Mate,
are you done yet? Or?
Yeah, thank you very much for that.
No problem, mate. Yeah.
Search for it on YouTube.
Will do, mate. Okay, cheers, buddy.
Yeah, what a gent, you know, it's like common sense talk.
Ready to talk yet? We'll offend people. That's video, you're live. More press showing up now. It's always hard to determine whether they're official or whether they're just doing it for the love.
He's done a bit with me.
Can I talk to you? Do you mind talking on camera?
What about?
It's about this march. And the current state of
Good things to talk to him.
When you talk to him, they're the most sane national.
Alright, let's get back to that.
I'm working with
So this is currently live on YouTube, so people are watching. There's about 50 or 60 people watching now, but more people will watch after it's streamed, you know. So
How do we find it when we get home?
go on YouTube. Do you use YouTube at all?
My favourite
He does. He's the computer whiz.
team. He's the one that's got the
I'll tell him after the talk. So I'm not editing this, so everything you're saying will be seen exactly how you say it. So I'm not going to try and spin anything or make you look bad. But yeah, like so what? Why are you here? What is the Veterans Against Terrorism? Obviously against terrorism, but
This Veterans Against the Supporters of Terrorism. This cross I wear is what we call the Elizabeth Cross. My son died in Bosnia in 1997. What I didn't realise at the time, and none of us knew till quite recently, that after the Mujahideen had driven the Russians out of Afghanistan, 15,000 Mujahideen secreted by John Major and Bill Clinton's governments into Bosnia in the early 90s. They then tried to set up a caliphate in Bosnia, which the Serbs weren't going to have because they had quite a lot of Muslim upheaval over the last 1,000 or so years, which led to the Bosnian Civil War, which our soldiers then had to go in and sort out. Those 15,000 Mujahideen fighters, married local women, were given special privileges under the Dayton Accord, which brought peace in Bosnia. Kamikaze pilot in 2001. The Madrid bombings in 2004 were orchestrated, organised and executed by Bosnian fighters. So they want to stop supporting terrorism, like they were backing Al-Qaeda in Libya in 2011. I asked my MP why we were backing Al-Qaeda in 2011 when my son was in Afghanistan fighting Al-Qaeda and went on to lose both his legs as a bomb disposal operative. So I've got very good reason. Oh, by the way, my grandfather was murdered by the IRA in 1935. So I've got very good reason to be very anti-terrorism. And I'm very anti the supporters of terrorism. And the biggest supporters of terrorism in this country are not the mosques that are collecting money that they won't publish the details about. It's the people in Parliament that won't look after our rights. They're more worried about the 3,000 plus terrorists that are running around, or potential terrorists that are running around in this country, and won't do a thing about it. And like Phil Campion says, if they want to go to ISIS, let them go and live in ISIS. If they're not British citizens, get them out of this country. We interned 20,000 alien foreigners in the First World War. We interned 20,000 of them on the Isle of Man. We had to because it was a war footing, and we had to take desperate bloody steps. We're in desperate steps now, and if these politicians aren't prepared to do anything, if they aren't prepared to listen to our politicians, let them go and explain to the parents of the children that have died in these terrorist atrocities why they aren't doing anything, because I most certainly want to know. Like I say, I'm still waiting for answers over my son's death in Bosnia in 1997. So that is my interview concluded. Thank you very much, young man.
I appreciate you talking, sir, and I appreciate everything that you say. Can I shake your hand?
You're welcome.
And thank you for your service. What's your history?
I was Royal Engineer, but I was intelligence operative, anti-terrorism work mainly. I've served in Northern Ireland and over there in Bosnia.
So why aren't they calling you up to give them some advice?
We'd be there like a shot.
You know, this is
We'd be there like a shot.
what is your opinion on, obviously, you've been dealt some terrible blows by government decisions that sound to me, conspiracy. These people, why are they doing it? Is it just stupidity?
They're just lightweights. They've got no backbone. They haven't got the backbone of that man who stands. Yeah, I'm talking here. Do you mind? They've got no manners. Some of these
she's
people.
on holiday. She's got to get to her hotel.
No, like I say, that's what we're about. We're veterans against terrorism, but this veteran is definitely against the supporters of terrorism. A few weeks ago, the Home Secretary wouldn't publish the funding inquiry that David Cameron had ordered in 2015 because they don't want to rock the boat. They don't want the people in Manchester, the people round the corner in the mosque round the corner are raising funds to kill their children. That's the truth of it.
Superb.
Okay.
I appreciate it, sir. You're very kind. And yes, if you want to find this, it will be on YouTube. This is streaming live. There's about a 20-second delay.
Yeah.
But if you just go on YouTube and search Veterans Against Terrorism, I wouldn't be surprised if you said about your son who's clued up on it. He'll find it and he'll see you talking.
Okay.
You're a gent.
Thank you very much indeed, young man.
I appreciate it. Left hand.
Thank
Cub
you.
Scouts.
Take care.
Are you here in support of the march?
Yes, I'm from Southampton, UKIP.
Yes.
And I've got 2 cameras and I'm making or hoping to make some quite good photos and videos for Facebook and YouTube.
Right, okay.
Because I have a staff rail pass, I can get to London easily. And when there's anything patriotic or interesting on, I come to it to get the cameras going.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, so how did you find out about this?
Because I follow the Facebook page, Veterans Against Terrorism.
Yes.
Having been born in London and during the war, I've got an interest in military affairs because it actually dominates your whole life. You know, it really has a tremendous influence on people.
Yeah. It's a lovely turnout now as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Are you a freelance journalist?
Yeah. So what I'm doing, I travel to like you do patriotic events, and I try and capture them as honestly as possible.
Yes.
So if there was a fight breaking out, I'd film it and I wouldn't edit it and only show the fight.
No, I know what you mean.
Like I say, I mean, this is streaming live now to YouTube. There's probably about 50 or 60 people watching.
Yes.
But obviously people will be able to watch at a later date.
Yes, of course, and then they send it to their friends. Have you got a business card or anything?
I haven't. But if you go on YouTube, or I wouldn't be surprised if someone shares the link to this stream on Facebook.
Yes, because so when I want to see it on Facebook, I go to what page do I go to on Facebook to get what's going on?
Well, because on Facebook you've got the timeline, haven't you? And you can see what people have shared. You know, if someone, say for example, if you took photos of this event, you can put them on Facebook and put them on their page. Well, go up where you normally do, and you'll see other people have shared on Facebook. What I'll do...
Sorry, I'm not very good at understanding this. I mean, I use Facebook every day, but do I go to the Veterans Against Terrorism page? Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought maybe you had your own private page.
Well, no, I mean, I've got my YouTube channel, but I'll once I get back, I'll put the link around.
Sorry. So if I go to their page,
you'll see it.
Oh, brilliant! Oh, that's wonderful.
It'll be about a 2-hour-long thing, and I've got like numerous, people talking.
Yes, brilliant.
Veterans and the organiser and things like that. So.
I'm of the opinion that if you're English and you live in this country and you're blonde, and I am all those 3,
yes,
you are up against it. In the area where I live, people darker than I, and everyone's darker than I, can abuse me, threaten me, get really nasty or violent towards me, and believe me, nobody wants to help. I mean, in a very severe case, I was attacked by a foreign man who was a drug addict, and he was apprehended and he's now in jail. But the point is, if it's something just like abuse or insults or threats, if you're blonde blonde, no one wants to help me.
So are you a minority in your area?
Sorry, in a way, I'm not a minority by race, but I live in a student ghetto. So it attracts a lot of drug dealers and drug addicts. And they're the ones that are likely to attack, not the dealers, they stay quiet, but the drug addicts go around mugging or robbing, burglary and that.
Right.
So it's quite a dangerous area.
Yeah. Oh God. And that's why the police need the ability to deal with these people quickly.
Well, I must admit, the man who attacked me, who was a drug addict, they did come out within 5 minutes. And I'd already chased him and said where he'd gone, and they got my handbag back. Of course, he stole my money and spent it on drugs. They were really good, but I can honestly say, if it had just been abuse or threats, I'm going to kill you, it's not even bothering to tell them, because you're blonde.
And you think that if it was the other way round, if you were going
Oh,
around...
for goodness sake, if I, a blonde person, said to a person darker than I, Foxtrot Oscar or I'm going to hit you, they'd be out like a shot. Yeah. But as you're darker than I, we won't try it out today.
Yeah. Well, no, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Search, you'll see a link.
Oh, lovely. Right. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So who are you guys with?
We work Rupley, it's an international news
Rupley.
agency.
Oh, right, yeah. You're kind of like...
Is that the S2 or?
R2.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I'm actually live streaming at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Like you guys, you do really good live streams of all the kind of... I don't envy some of the riots that you guys end up in. Do you end up in riots and stuff filming that?
Yeah.
Are you the live streaming guys?
I just came back from Hamburg, so...
Oh, wow, yeah. I tell you what, some of the... Were you the guy walking around in the middle of the night?
Yeah, that was me.
Do you know what? I was thinking, my God, like, what's fires and everything.
That was so much fun.
Yeah, you lived to tell.
We've got to go and get more books, but
yeah. Nice to meet you. Good to see the Rupley guys. I think, just out of curiosity, is Rupley part of RT?
Yeah, we're part of RT.
Right, yeah. Yes, those were the Rupley guys who tend to do live streams. The Rupley live streaming was what actually prompted me to get into this. Watching that, I started doing research as to how they do it. It's a shame really. I was hoping that would be the BBC or someone else, but obviously it's Rupley, and Rupley do tend to cover some of these things, and they don't tend to have as much of an agenda as other broadcasters.
And I'll tell you one of the biggest days at the moment is going American.
Excuse me, chap. Sorry to barge in. Can I talk to you? It's live streaming at the moment, and it'd be really nice to kind of talk to you guys about, why you're here. And I don't do any editing. This is all live.
Yeah.
So I try and show as honest as possible. By the way, it is recording now. Yeah. But okay. I was wondering if you mind just chatting, I
thought I knew you. I thought it was Jason. I thought I knew you. No, fine. It's fine. We're just here to take a petition to number 10. It's basically, we're just a peaceful march wanting to put our views across to Parliament about what's happening, and it's not only the protection of London, it's the protection of England. So that's
Western Europe. The future of Western Europe is in threat at the moment, I suppose.
It is. Everything's in, but we're more bothered about what's happening at home at the moment.
Exactly.
We need to protect home before we start protecting everything else.
And obviously, I suppose the main priority is government aren't acting in a way that's kind of pragmatic, are they? Really?
No, they're just cutting back on everything.
Why do you think that is?
Save money. It's just the way. It's the way of government. They've got to get the money from somewhere. So the forces, the police force, the ambulances, all the major things that Parliament pay for, that's the only place they can do the cutbacks on.
Security.
Yeah, certain places they want security, but it's not only in certain places, it's all over the UK.
What's your opinion on Donald Trump?
I was just about to mention Donald Trump. I think he's a menace.
Right, okay. Well, what about his,
his son?
Some of the policies. It's quite nice to get the opposite, because quite a few veterans have said we kind of quite like him.
Oh, he's given away more American secrets since he's been in, and I'm surprised that, as a gun country, that somebody hasn't already shot him.
Okay. Well, no,
but that's my opinion. It's not everybody's.
I mean, a lot of what I've heard has been that obviously he's for his own country. You know.
Donald Trump's for Donald Trump, and that's my opinion of it.
Oh, okay.
He's not bothered what he does, as long as it suits him.
What do you think is going to happen if they're not pragmatic? Obviously you're handing a petition in asking for more to be done. Let's assume we go 3 years down the line with nothing happening and attacks start to continue and get more and more, which I think they probably will. What's going to happen to this country if government don't
We've got problems, haven't we? We've definitely got problems. When you say what's going to happen to this country, we have massive problems. Okay, we have to clamp down and sort this issue out now. Not 3 years down the line. People are getting killed. People are getting injured. I personally have a friend who was killed just across the road. It was a policeman. My friend was killed. Keith Palmer. Okay, if you remember that, he was a very good friend and a colleague of mine. And we have to do something now. People are not listening, and the people who are blind to this, they blinker to everything that's going on around them. We can see it as normal people. I'm sure everybody else can see it. Why can't those people across the road see what we are seeing? It's not an issue where people, oh listen, I've heard it for many years. People talk about it's racist. It's not racist. I have my views that we have to clamp down, sort our issues out now. We might as well cave in and let everybody just do what they like in this country.
So with regards to the sort of 2,000 or so, is it 2,000?
I'm sorry?
2,300 known people who are on a watch list, isn't it?
Apparently so, yes.
Something along those lines. So I mean, what would you, if you were given control, how would you deal with that situation?
Oh my God, we're going to have to start work straight away, aren't we? These people who want to inflict harm on innocent people, my friend here, yourself, we have to detain them now. If they don't want to be here,
get them on a boat and send them away.
Send them away. That's all I can say to you.
I'll even buy the ticket. I honestly will. If they want to go and support all these causes that we want to support, let them go, but do not let them back in the country.
Or let them back and then do them for high treason.
No, just do not stop them and do not let them back in. If they want to go, let them go, but they don't come back in.
Enough's enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
Enough is enough. And I'm saying it as well. Enough is enough. I know many people who will say the same thing. Not say the same thing, who have the same beliefs as my friend here and myself. Okay, enough.
And probably you as well.
Okay.
Yeah. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you talking. Like I say, this is just going straight to YouTube. I don't do any editing because I think people deserve the right to be shown in a real light. So I've personally funded this. Someone else has also put money in, and it just goes straight to YouTube.
Okay.
I appreciate it. Thank
all
you.
The best.
No problem.
Take care. All the best, my friend. Take care.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Our petition is on the other petition is over 300,000.
As with previous marches, I'm not going to try and get the speech perfectly because it'd be physically impossible.
But I'm going to try and get it as best I can. Sorry guys, missed it. I think the talk with the previous veterans was worth it though.
Stay 10-15 metres behind us. Already goes?
Yeah, mate.
Right, make sure you stay that distance behind you. Stay to the right hand side and keep yourself spread down the people. Right? Stay to the right and keep yourself down. Right, I want you to go live one.
I'll go live on man as we're walking down.
I'll do it as well at front.
You good?
Currently streaming live for YouTube.
Okay, all right. Well, there you go. You can see, it speaks for itself, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Job done.
Right, I'll get it on the international page.
Right, when are we moving on?
Phil, are you ready?
I'm all ready,
Let's
mate.
go.
Let's go.
Come on, Bill. 10-15 metres behind. Never been in there in my life. No, I've come from Wales yesterday. I left yesterday morning for the same day.
Yeah.
This is you as well. I'll show a bit of support. Thank you. Send the trap there.
Sorry, mate, sorry.
Yes, where's Steph? Steph?
Make sure you put your watch out.
members wrote our petitions and our letter. He's just going to give you a few words while myself, Sean and Phil, we're going to present the letter and the petition to Downing Street. Once we've done that, Big Phil will come back over and he'll say a few pieces and then the girls are just going to finish off. Alright, so just bear with us 2 seconds. Thanks very much, massive turnout there. I'm now going to hand you over to Richard. Someone hold this through. Veterans Against Terrorism. Let's have a round of applause for the Veterans Against Terrorism. It's a privilege to stand here with my brethren, with my brothers and sisters who serve this country bravely. Hallelujah. What a privilege it is to be with you all. And I want to thank Phil and Sean and Dan for setting this thing up. These men have taken great risks. These men have taken great risks to do this in this stand. And why are we here? We're here because our country is under attack. And it's got to stop. It's got to stop. I want to tell you something, brethren. This is the struggle of our age. This is the major struggle of our age. It's time for us to stand. And you men and women are here for such a time as this. Time to stand up to terror. And what is the terror threat that we face? The terror threat we face is jihadist terrorism that is stalking the streets of this country. I want to tell you something about my story. 30 years ago, I was posted to Northern Ireland to stand against terrorism, and many of you men and women here stood in Northern Ireland against terrorism. And I want to thank you on behalf of the people of Northern Ireland, because we've got peace now. We've got peace because of you. We've got peace. And I also want to say about Northern Ireland, the vast majority of the people in Northern Ireland are against the prosecution of veterans. They're against it. It shouldn't be happening. There shouldn't be veterans getting prosecuted for what happened in the Troubles. But that's not why we're here today. We're here today because there is a darkness stalking the streets of this country. And that darkness is Islamic supremacism. That darkness is jihadism. And we're standing against it. We're standing against it. It's a new menace. It's been growing for years like a cancer. And it's got stronger and stronger and stronger. And it's going to stop. It's going to stop. It has to stop. And I want to call on our Muslim friends and neighbours. We're not bothered what religion you are. I want to call on our Muslim friends and neighbours. Start throwing these people out of your communities, because we know that you are the victims of the jihadists as well. And if you throw them out of your community, we will stand with you. Yes! We will support you. But I want to say a word. I want to say a word to the jihadists. We do not fear you. No! You will not win. No! You will not impose your Islamic fascism on this country. It will not happen. There will be no Islamic supremacism in this country. We will win. And I want to say this to the next suicide bomber who thinks when he explodes his vest in a crowd of civilians, of little girls, that thinks he's going to go to paradise. I ain't got news for you, my friend. You're going to open your eyes to the flames of hell. But I want to say this very strongly. We also completely condemn any violence against Muslims. That is not what we're about. Right? It's not what we're about. We want to defend and protect our Muslim friends and neighbours. This isn't about religion. This is about extremism. has to grow. They've got to change. A few weeks ago, Theresa May stood and said enough's enough. She was right. Enough is enough. This has to change, and it has to stop. And we put a petition out. Sure, many of you signed it. If you haven't signed it, get on Facebook, get that petition signed. We want 100,000 signatures on it, and we're going to present it to Amber Rudd, the Home Secretary. And what we're calling for in the letter that's going into Parliament is this. First of all, we want to lock up the 3,000 jihadists. We want to lock up the 3,000 jihadists that the government, the MI5 said, are causing a problem. We want to see them locked up. Secondly, we want to see the returning members of ISIS. We want to see the returning members of... I'm about to take off here. We want to see the returning members of ISIS tried for high treason. They have murdered little girls. They have raped, they have purged, and they want to destroy our country. It is treason, and they must be arrested and tried for high treason. War crimes! As the Chancellor, yes, war crimes. As the Chancellor of the Exchequer, Philip Hammond, called for this in 2014 when he was Foreign Secretary. We agree with him. Get them locked up, get them tried for treason. We also want to give the security forces as much support as we possibly can. We want them to have as many resources as they can. We're also against the imposition of Islamic blasphemy law and Sharia law in the UK. We want to ask where the money's coming from to support these groups. We know there's a report that's gone out. We want to see that report published. There is no acceptable level of terrorism. There is no acceptable level of terrorism. Living in a big city does not mean that you should be part and parcel of terrorist attacks. We should be able to live in a big city. The government has given advice. If there's a terrorist attack, on what to do. It's the complete opposite of what squaddies want to do. They've told us to run, hide and tell. I want to say this. If there's a terrorist attack, stand, fight and protect. You all know about Big Phil? Right? If it weren't for him, our last video got 6.5 million hits. Right? We are being heard. I'm now going to put you on to the big man himself, Phil Campion X22 SAS.
Okay, thank you very much for coming and supporting something that is so clear to all our dear to all our hearts. I'm not quite as energetic as that last show, to be honest, so you're going to have to bear with me a little bit, alright, because it's, so I'll start again with one line. Now this line I came out with on the television, okay, and it's stuck in people's minds, and the line is, there are people in this country targeting and killing our children. Not wanting to, not trying to, not pretending to, they are. Okay? Now that's the game changer. That's where things change around. That's where we have to start doing something about it, okay? Because the minute you talk about something, well that's fine, but the minute you start doing it, it becomes a completely different ball game altogether. And that's what this is about. We are not political. We're not racial. We're not religious. We're real people. We're people who live in these towns that these scumbags have decided to come to and try and break up with their lunacy and their idiot ideals and whatever it is they're trying to get across, okay? All I want is somewhere where my family can live safely, alright? Behind us, okay, you see made out of bronze. You see made out of bronze behind me. Good men. Good men that have led other good men. We spent years building this country up to what it is, alright? We don't want to just see it smashed apart by a load of lunatics, a load of people that ain't worth the whatever's under my shoe. All right, it just ain't on. All right, at least 3,000 people are at large in this country who are actively taking part in supporting in activities to undermine the greater good here. And that's the ones we know about. All right, that's the ones that we've been told we know about. Something needs to be done about these people. It's no good. It's no good just saying, what do you want me to stand on television again in a couple of months' time and go, well, that's terrible, that's really bad. Well, I could have told you it was coming. And then do you want people to go, we knew about him, we knew about him, we knew about him, we knew about him. It ain't on. We've got to stop it. And the only way you'll stop it is by doing something about it, okay? I've always been told that in times of peace, you prepare for war. We've had a small period without incident, and it's as if people already think we're out in the woods and we've won the war. I'll tell you something now. I'll tell you something 100% now that I can guarantee on my life and my kids' lives. We've not won the war on terror. We've not come anywhere near it yet. Absolutely not anywhere near it, okay? We are still very much under threat. Every one of us. The fact there's not been attacked for a while only says to me that they're planning something even bigger and better next time, okay? And they're hiding behind, they're hoping that everybody's going to forget about them, and then they're going to come back and smash us in the head again. All right? That's the reality of what's going on here, okay? They're winning. In as far as every time it goes quiet for a while, so do we. And we give them a chance to reorganise, regroup, and re-smack us again. The security services in this country do a tremendous job, but they're being hampered by wishy-washy, pussyfooting shower of shit. Yeah! Okay? That's exactly what we've got. And I don't mind the odd profanity now and again to highlight exactly how heinous those imbeciles are. Okay? It's not if they're going to attack us, it's when are they going to attack us. We need to keep strong, and we need to keep on at those in charge and insist change. Wars are not won sat on your sofa. Voices are not heard unless you're out and about. And people cannot be counted unless they can be seen. And you people can be seen today, so you can hold your heads up high. Yeah! I tried to do something about it. I stood there in London, and I stood up and I was counted, and I tried to do something about what was going wrong. And hopefully we will succeed. We still have policemen walking dangerous streets without the correct equipment to deal with the threats they face. I wonder who's writing their risk assessment. I'm not allowed nowadays to load a lorry unless I'm wearing full protective gear. Yet someone has signed off on letting people who protect us wander around without means of defending themselves or the people they signed up to protect. It's absolutely bureaucracy gone mad. If there is a problem in any walk of life, the only way to deal with it is head on. We have a massive problem, and all the time we are pretending it will go away, it's getting stronger. The time to act was missed. We've missed the time to act, okay? We've let it slip. We've let our guard down, okay? We're now playing catch up. When I served in the regiment, we were taught to act with speed, aggression and surprise to get amongst our enemies. Unfortunately, the enemy we face cannot be tickled into submission and cannot be talked out of what it's doing. Brave men need to get up in the early hours of the morning and rip these bastards off the street. I'm going to finish by saying, the IRA once said, we only had to be lucky once, and you've got to be lucky all the time. There is no luck involved. In the right laws are in place, and the security services are allowed to carry out their jobs properly. By tackling the problem in the right way, the tables can reverse, and they can become, they can be the ones that become needing the luck, all right? We shouldn't need the luck, they should need the luck, okay? And trust me, their luck will run out one day. I'm just going to finish by saying, this is my last thought for the day, okay? I'm just going to finish by saying, we don't own this great country, okay? We don't own one inch or millimetre of the land of this great country. We just safeguard it for our children. And hopefully one day we hand it over in a fit state for them to carry on and push this society that we know forward, okay? Let's make sure we don't hand it over to a bunch of lunatics that just want to carry out heinous acts on our soil. Thank you very much for coming.
and finish off, right, before we play this, the girls are going to just give us one more thing. But just let me tell you something now. When we started, everyone thought we were a fad, right? They all thought, oh, it's because of this one attack. Let me tell you, no, it's not, right? We are not going away. We will be back down here on the 8th of October supporting the football lads. Right? We are now planning. Well, they've got that, 7. Get in, 7. We are also planning Edinburgh at the back of November. We are not going away. We are not stopping. Right? Then we're going somewhere else. We are not going to stop until we get results. The girls now are going to play us a tune while me, Sean and Phil go over to Downing Street and give them our letter and our petition. The press or whoever's here with us, follow over by all means. If I can appreciate if the rest of you can stay in this containment area, because then we're going to finish off with last post. Alright, everybody in agreement? Yeah. Let me hear you roar!
There's a letter. Superb, mate.
Yeah. And we'll all go back to Oggyland, oi, to Oggyland, oi, to Oggyland, oi, and we'll all go back to Oggyland, oi, where they can't tell shit from tissue paper, marmalade or jam. Oggy, Oggy, Oggy! Oi, oi, oi! Oggy! Oi, Oggy! Oi, Oggy, Oggy, Oggy! Oi, oi, oi! Where's Big Phil? Listen, ladies and gents, the majority of us here, we have served all over. Yeah, and we have fought this battle. Just bow your head now for comrades, people that have gone. And not just that, the people that have been affected. What you've got to remember is these people that have died in these terrorist attacks, yeah, their families are going to grieve. But it's the people that have been injured and seen people die, that does not leave you. That haunts you just like it will haunt you that are stood here. Right? All them people are suffering. So just remember them people, show them your respect now, yeah? Just bow your head, stay quiet, here we go, no bum notes. Veterans Against Terrorism. We also have an International Veterans Against Terrorism. There's been a parade today in America. Yeah, in coalition. So just keep sharing and get the word out there. Listen, before you go now, go and enjoy this beautiful city. Do not give the police any headaches. Don't lower yourself to that tone. Right? At the end of the day, we want to support them against this filth. Right? Thank you again. Thank you again. Be here. Have a good day and enjoy yourselves. You're all dismissed. Yes.
at the end of the day, just like anything, I'm on the front page of OK. Yeah, of course. Thanks so much. Yeah, 8th of October, yeah. I'll get him, mate. Phil's got my bag. What you said, I thought you got Phil's. So just about engineer wrong, Jim.
Said in jest. Said in jest.
Keep pushing, we keep following. We will. Absolutely, we'll do it. We'll do it. We've got to keep going. Oh, bless you, man. Thanks for coming.
I don't give it to him, love. I don't give it to him.
Okay, no worries.
It's all right,
Just keep on. I don't know. I mean, I'm just waiting to see what the guys are doing. A big t-shirt. Oh, sorry. Big t-shirt. Oh, no. Nobody can remember it.
Yeah, he was in the Middle East.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, no.
Says it all. So I... 4 inch more.
Sorry. Hold on, I'll go with this online. Thank you. Lovely, great stuff. Anybody?
I'm just here live from straight to YouTube. So
what you're here for, and how do you think
It went very well today. It's Veterans Against Terrorism. We're allowing these terrorists straight back into the country after fighting in Turkey, Syria and the Middle East. We've served our time, we've served our country, and now we deserve a bit of security, a bit of peace on our own shores. No one likes violence, everybody wants peace, and this is what we're standing up for. It's not non-religion, non-political, non-violent, and it's just we want peace. Normality. We've served our country. Now let's give something back. Let's make the streets of this country safe yet again.
For the kids.
For the kids
and the
grandchildren. Who wants to live in a world of violence? And where's this violence coming from? The people that live next door. Let's stamp it out. We've talked to the IRA. We've sorted that issue out. Now let's sort the next door neighbours out. The people that live next door to us. And these people know who these people are. They use a code of silence called tachia. Let's stamp this out.
There's also fear, isn't there? I mean, if you wanted to go to the authorities, I mean, it's not only is it going against your religion, but it's going against your kind of they're concerned about their lives. I imagine, you know?
As in Rome, do as the Romans do. If you want to live in this country, live peaceful. If you want to live by Sharia law or any other law, go back to where you originate from. And the biggest gripe as well is that the wealthiest country in the world, i.e. Saudi Arabia, what are they doing to help the refugees? Absolutely nothing. Let's get these people...
Well, they've got huge camps, haven't they? Completely empty.
Completely empty. They're doing nothing. They're supposed to be one of the so-called religious countries in the world. Let them go back.
And what's your military history, if you don't mind me asking?
I spent 6 years in the Guards. I served in the UK, Germany. You know, let's stamp this terrorism out. If you speak out about certain groups, you're called a racist.
Well, the more people that speak out, the less they can. The people who are attacking people who are just talking the truth, I think, becoming a minority, it will get to that point, and hopefully it gets to the point where people are openly talking, like you are, completely unapologetic, you know, just honest, truthful talk from what you've seen. Hence why I've travelled. I'm not a military man. I kind of look back and wish I'd maybe done it when I was young, you know. I wouldn't have cut it though.
You stand up for your Queen and country. That's what you're there. You serve for. And everybody that's on this land should respect the laws of the land, respect their elders, and most of all respect themselves.
Thank you for that, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, and you.
Be on YouTube.
Yep. Under what?
Just search for Veterans Against Terrorism.
Yep.
Or hashtag Stand Against Stand Up to Terror.
Yep.
Wherever you found out about this, if you search for the same thing on YouTube, mine will probably be on the first page.
Marvellous.
It's a pleasure.
Cheers, brother.
I won't
Thank
be
you.
editing this, so everything that anyone says today, I show it.
Cheers, thank you.
I appreciate it so much. Appreciate it.
You're down fucking Scotland with a fucking bus. All the way on the clipper. 14 fucking hours. And I'm a fucking skint fucking
You don't know the problem?
I am going to go outside the pub, mate.
I'm just my head.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Cheers. I'm going back on north. See you later, mate. Cheers. If you mentioned on the radio or something. No, cheers. Take care, mate. Hello, mate. You alright? Yeah, you good? Nice one, thanks. And it just doesn't chill for you. Yeah, no, definitely get that in as well. Good lads.
You know, mate?
Cheers, mate. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. When's my Ralph? Thanks for coming up, mate. Seriously, thanks. That's right. He's in the red line. Okay, yeah, definitely. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, yeah, it was all right. Yeah, okay. Thanks for coming, buddy.
Thanks. You will yeah, bye.
See you on the next one.
Yeah, go safe, mate.
Yeah, you too. October the 8th. Yeah, that's what I'm going to have a proper here about, because it's not information. I want you to enjoy it. I did all right. Oh, right, okay.
There was another guy on there last night.
I'm going to try and speak to Phil and some of the other organisers. One of the things have kind of calmed down a little bit. See if I can get an impartial sort of discussion on how they think it went and what the future plans are. I don't want to kind of interrupt at the moment because lots of people have kind of travelled and they're kind of enjoying kind of interacting with Phil. So I'm just going to kind of hang back and just try and grab them when I can. I really should have done research onto who the organisers are, but so busy trying to set up the live stream and everything and travel. Just me at the moment. It's a little bit kind of complicated.
Yeah, if you send a message me on my Facebook, when to let me know. I will send it to you. Do you watch the
By the time we left there and travelled to back, there's going, yeah, but we are purely where all went down
Excuse me, sir. Hello. Would you mind talking on camera?
Who's it for?
It's going live at the moment, Facebook Live, just straight to YouTube. So it'll be shared, probably, you know.
Yeah, but what's the organisation?
Pardon?
What's the organisation?
Just me.
Just you?
Independent, yeah. So I just kind of travel around trying to kind of cover these things. But what I do, I stream it live from start to the end. I don't edit anything.
Right.
So I just kind of try and interact with people.
Okay, what sort of questions are going to get asked?
I don't know really, just kind of an impartial chat, just about like, you know, how do you think the march went today in London?
I think the march went very well and yeah, there was a good turnout, not as much as we expected. Could have been a bit more veterans and yeah, fellow supporters, yeah.
Indeed, yeah, I thought the same, but then once the procession started, there were quite a lot of people, I think. You know, it looked less than there actually were at certain points. I was kind of filming, but it's not quite as many, but then the march itself was enormous.
Oh, and it's good to see the bikers, the Crusaders, which is the veterans bikers.
Makes me want to be a biker. I want to get a bike, you know. So what's your military history?
I was within the army. I was ex-army, 17th Port and Maritime Regiment. I was on landing craft, initially as a deckhand, and then later on done a bit of navigating when I left. I left for other reasons. I do miss it.
You miss it?
Some of the things I miss, yes. And before that I was in the Territorial Army, and I'd done 3 years in the Territorial Army with the Royal Engineers as a sapper, which was quite good as well. No problem.
Left-handed Cub Scouts handshake. But yeah, like I say, I mean, I'm just travelling. I suppose I'm the guy that travels around and tries to show patriotic events. So I went to the Football Lads March about a month ago in London, and I'm trying to make an effort to travel around and show these things. BBC would know where to be seen, you know? Where are these people?
I think the BBC are, you know, they've got
they've got their mandate and
an agenda. I think,
agenda. Is a more correct way of saying it, and
the British Brainwashing Corporation.
Yes, exactly.
Or bullshit company. Yeah.
That's what I was going to say, but I didn't want to swear.
Oh well, no. The rawness, I think it's good. You know, it's like we're normal people, and like that's what I'm trying to show. Because I mean, it's very hard to paint veterans in a bad light, but they'll try their damnedest to. They'll try and find one guy who's trying to, start trouble, or they'll plant someone to make it look bad. But
that was my concern about the whole event, especially with the BBC and the like. Veterans are generally good people. There was somebody that was gasping for a drink, and I gave him a drink of my water, and there's veterans are like a close family.
Yeah.
We look after each other. If someone drops his wallet or something, you pick it up and you put it.
You're on live.
Yeah, we're live apparently.
Yeah, I know. It's all good interaction.
Come in. But a veteran, and I think the thing about veterans is it crosses the age divide. I could be, we're talking to, I don't know your age, but
I'm being a bit personal here.
I'm 40 and I'm talking to a
I'm
veteran.
62, I'll have it.
There we go. So yeah, it's a family.
What I'm seeing. When I went to the Football Lads Alliance to film them, they've got a community. They all support football. A lot of them fight each other, on the weekend.
It's sad, waste of energy when it could be put into the common enemy.
But the point is, they've got community. They've all got something that they follow, and it's the same with you guys. I think you've got a community, and I don't think there's much of a community anymore within.
We see it down where we live in the sticks. You get this, the one village is opposed to they're from Pennington, we don't want anything to do with them. It's sort of, and we're too small a country to be. We're still acting as we were when the Romans arrived here. It's like. It's like my father was Scottish. He was from the Kingdom of Fife, I should say, that no longer exists.
No, it's still a kingdom.
It's still a kingdom. It'll always be a kingdom as far as we're concerned. But he said at the time, we're all Rabtampson's bairns, and Rabtampson being God. No matter what your colour, what your creed, we're all Rabtampson's bairns. But some people find that very difficult to live with, don't they? Especially if they've got. Like I say, I'm proud to say I'm a Christian, but I'm not going to go and ram it down other people's throats. If somebody wanted to burn a Bible in front of me, it's not going to worry me, so I can go to a hotel and pick up another Gideon. It's sort of, if someone wants to slander Jesus, that's their prerogative. I'm not going to go out and start a murder campaign because they don't believe or they think Jesus is a waste of time. Everybody's entitled. This is what we've fought for years, is our freedom of speech and opinion.
That's what it's all about, democracy, freedom of opinion.
One of the things, there's been a continuous assault on the Christian faith for decades now, hasn't it?
The biggest problem was the First World War. So many people come out of the First World War disillusioned, not just the servicemen but the families as well. And the Church of England, the bottom just dropped out of the Church of England after the First World War, whereas the whole village or the whole estate used to go to the village church because they felt they had to. But after the Church of England just died, and I think it was Lawrence from Arabia was asked to try and resurrect the Church of England, and he said, it's impossible to do that. You cannot resurrect a religion, you can only invent a new one, which I think is quite true. But I don't regard myself as Church of England, I regard myself as a Christian that tried to live by Bible teaching. It's very difficult. God made it almost impossible.
It's morals, isn't it?
It's morals, I brought my kids up to, do their best to help people, and they've always done that. My son died saving 9 Bosnian civilians. I'm so proud of that. It's sort of, he died trying to safeguard. He lost his legs trying to safeguard. He was a bomb disposal operative and lost his legs trying to make other people safe. It's sort of. My sons have done.
And then he comes home and we've got it on
on our shores.
Yeah. But it's the last 100 years of British foreign policy has brought this onto us. You know, it's sort of we've created these little monsters, and then they get out of the bottle, and we can't get them back in. You know, it's sort of we've always appeased terrorism. You know, we've always given in to them. You know, hundreds of British soldiers and servicemen die. And then we turn around and give in to the terrorists, you know, and that's the fact of life, don't you think? You know, but that's what I like about this. You can get young soldiers in their late teens, you can get old vets here in their 80s, and we've all got that common thread running through us. You know, it's sort of we all.
Terrorism shouldn't be tolerated. Whatever religion there are, whether it's Buddhism and Sikhism, it shouldn't be tolerated. That's what the whole campaign
I've
is
read
about.
the Quran from cover to cover. It's very cleverly written.
It's the wrong way round, isn't it, or something along those lines?
You start it at the back and you read it to the front. Yeah, but I've read the Penguin version, I should say. I haven't read the Arabic version. You know, it's sort of and. I think it's Surah 5 verse 20 that thou shalt not kill another human being, but a Sunni doesn't regard a Shia as another human being, or a Shia doesn't regard it as a Sunni, and let alone a Jew or a Christian or an atheist, God forbid, you know, it's sort of...
But it's worrying, isn't it? I think people need to understand what we're dealing with, you know. I mean, it's not all Muslims, but there are there's extreme ones, and they believe in certain things. I think people need to understand what.
We live in a little country town. We've got Muslims living there. We've got Southampton, which is a huge, great pot of ethnic mix, you know. But everybody rubs along together. That's why I like going into Southampton. Everybody rubs along. There's no nastiness, no bitterness. You go along Shirley High Street, you might hear 20 different languages being spoken. In some of the schools there's 40 different languages. That's just in Southampton, you know, and everybody rubs on and we live together, you know, but the mosques there are very liberal, you know. It's, anyway, I've got to go. We've been summoned.
Oh, sorry.
You'll still be in interview.
He just said pub. I was like, you know,
pub. Before you go, have you guys seen Dunkirk yet? Not yet.
My father was there.
Did the don't know if you've seen?
Someone said
online, I'm a Canadian by birth, right? My dad's